In this video, we'll look at another way to use scan, a very simple way of making sense of complexity. It's just two axes. One is an axis of time, how long before or after an arbitrarily chosen now, and in the other direction, an axis of certainty to uncertainty, predictability to unpredictability, sameness to uniqueness. And one of the challenges that we face in any kind of business environment is about the relationship between plan and action. If we draw an arbitrary line here, there is a transition that we take between where we're still working on the plan and there's time to think about it, versus we're now in the middle of the action and there's no time to think. So we have that transition between the plan and the action. And there's that old military phrase that no plan survives first contact with the enemy, or more generally, no plan survives first contact with reality department. So how are we going to keep track of and adapt the plan in relation to what's actually happening in the real world to what we were intending to do? Well, there's two German terms that come up a lot, which is auftragstaktik, which roughly speaking is translated nowadays as commander's intent, and fingerspitzengefühl, which is roughly speaking translated as situational awareness. It literally means fingertip touch, fingertip feeling, but it's now we would call it situational awareness. And what we're building is a feedback loop. We go from the plan and frame the plan as commander's intent. Now that's not just orders. It includes the orders or the intent. It's explaining what the intention is, why it exists, what options are available, and the guiding principles when things become certain. So the plan looks like it's setting up the rules, which is what we'd expect in the side of certainty. That feeds into the action. But it includes the guidelines to deal with things when things are not stable, when they keep changing on us, when they're different. They include instructions on how to adapt what you would use when the world is unknown. That leads us or provides us with fingertip feeling. We need to be picking up information from the real world, interpreting it in terms of the commander's intent, and feeding that back so that we can provide a plan, a revised plan. Now, there are several crucial things that happen here. The first one is that people are only going to accept our commander's intent when there is personal connection and personal trust. It works its way down the chain of command, but at each level there is trust of where it's coming from, that the plan has been thought through, that has been considered, all the options are available. It provides a sense of the big picture, but it depends on personal connection and trust. So it's a very human aspect of what is supposed to be part of certainty. It feeds into the action. The situational awareness depends on sensing, on feeling, on often literal being in touch. The one thing we have to avoid is policy-based evidence. In other words, we need to be really careful to select our information or to not filter our information too much on what we expect. We need to be able to sense out what's going on and work our way through it. This then gives us that feedback loop between plan and action. So this depends on, the crucial issue here is around trust, and the crucial issue here is about sensing the real rather than just what we expect. That then feeds us up to there. So that's our feedback loop. We can map it out in terms of the SCAN framework. That shift from plan to action, that shift from certainty to dealing with the uncertainty of the real world, but using the information that we gain from there to feed back, to update the plan in a continuous process. That's a useful way of making use of SCAN. Thanks for watching. Do look at the YouTube description for links to further detail. And don't forget to subscribe for other videos, and also to support us on Patreon to help us produce these videos and the tools themselves.